The trombone, the start of it, and this is the poetry, we hope. And I'm going to start with a poem called Terminus, written on a train, needless to say. As I sat down, I noticed her across the aisle, but smiles are scarce on morning trains. At the terminus, I noticed her neighbour snoozing, suggested she nudge him as we all got off. Wakey, wakey. Ice now broken, she smiled and dazzled. We spoke and joked as in a dream. Then Jesus crept in. Wakey, wakey. Stuff about art, life and meaning and the universe in this compressed set. And this is the first example of it, I suppose. We've had, obviously, we dealt with love, that's been sorted out in the first poem. And this was inspired by reading stuff about art and artists and how they, all the exciting things that they do. I was very moved by it, so I wrote this thing. It's called Cross Purposes, or Mr. Puter tries postmodernism again. Thinking about an artist who crosses the boundaries between art and science, or the personal and the social, I move from the bathroom to the kitchen via the living area without really crossing any boundaries. This is disappointing. These are different places, and it is clear enough that baking is not bathing. And what's more, if I can't cross boundaries, it's going to be even trickier to transgress them.
Cool.
I decide that the way forward is to go ahead and posit a boundary between the kitchen and the living area. Thinking about another artist who pushes the boundaries between art and life, I decide to do likewise. Inspired and excited, I start to push the boundary between the kitchen and the living area working from the sofa. Carried away by enthusiasm, I overdo things and push the boundary too far, leaving me with no kitchen. One of the tunes on my album, a tiny part of which is on that table, is a tune called South of the River, which is where I hail from. And I tried playing this recently and tried to enlist, at great risk, the assistance of the audience to just go like that, on 2 and 4, as we say in the trade. Not everybody can do that clicking finger thing. You could just tap quietly or tap your forehead gently on the table in front of you. Identification. Shunning the TV, ignoring the empty magazines, plucking an old phrase book from a jacket pocket. La peur, fear, terror. La crainte, fear, terror. Le frayeur, fear, terror. La terreur, fear, terror. L'effroi, fear, terror. L'épouvante, fear, terror. Mr. Taylor, the dentist will see you now. This is yet another in a series of poems that I'm calling Foundlings, and they're concocted out of old newspapers in a bid to appear more green, eco-conscious. I've been recycling old newspapers in this very strict, almost algorithmic way, if you'll pardon such an expression. Take a newspaper, across a column on page 1, find a phrase that you like, save it. Page 2, same thing. Find a phrase just across a column, ignoring any split words. And on every page in the newspaper that's got articles, you must find a phrase. You've got a big pile of them, you just got to sort them out. And if you're lucky and very hard-working, you've got nothing better to do for days on end, you may be able to extract from that newspaper one of the hidden poems been lurking within all that time. It took you to entice it out. See? So I call them foundlings with their found points. I didn't write a word of it. So. But, you know, a certain amount of labour has gone into it in a strict algorithmic way. This is actually taken from an edition of the Morning Star, and it's called Much Better. A Romanian medical official, phrase-mongering about a new form of capitalism, gave a perfect demonstration of the Stanislavski system of comfortable truths and worsening conditions. It was not all doom and gloom. Campaigners welcomed the shame-based approach to the clarinet and the alto sax. Slogging through the rice paddies would be much better than stoking the fires of conflict. It is not perfect. There's a website, trombonepoetry.com. There's a blog on there. There's a monthly chronicle which didn't even come out this month, but there we go, it usually does. So, there's a page on Facebook, of course, if you want to be friends in a kind of likey, hands off, digital kind of way. Okay, this is my final bit now. It's another foundling. This has been extracted from a journal called Hackney Today. I do get around. Hackney-based designers entertained the crowds with a musical street parade. A performance by the borough's green entourage of cross-dressing villagers was hilarious. Most of the events were probably not worth doing. Hackney Community Law Centre has launched a primary school transformed into a bar for counsellors for the month-long programme. Buckets are still allowed. Everyone who attended was given 2 hours to lose consciousness. Thanks very much.